an individual, which is liked by the society when he or she interacts on daily basis and able to make a difference, which the world loves about. So this is what we are discussing today. Typically, as a parent, as a teacher, and a kid, I think the parent-teacher meetings are some of those meetings. But personally, I have encountered, but those are very specific to the issue with our kids. But this is about the certain values that we always discuss about Gandhiji, right? And certain things what we face in general. Let's have an interesting discussion on that. And so essentially, it boils down is how do we see life? How do we see what is our perspective, on these challenges? It boils down the right level of combination, the right level of communication, or the dialogue, that happens on the daily basis. So as a kid, the kid every day is interacting with either with the parent or with the teacher or both of them, right? And not a day passes when on a certain situation this dialogue or interaction happen or doesn't happen many times. So let's see the Gandhian way. Gandhiji is one personality where right from our childhood days we have read many stories, many of his movements which have kind of inspired us how he was able to achieve such a big result by the innovative ways and means that he has applied. All the peaceful way, the way he has fought. So that is one which always we carry back as a memory. And so today, I would like to know from the children present on the forum that which one of his movement, influenced you the most when you were studying about Gandhiji. You read about many moments. So which movement you were influenced a lot, and which of those moments, you would like to pick it up, and which challenge in the current society, given if you are given an opportunity that let me choose that moment which I liked, and which challenge I would pick up today to apply that moment, in what way. So I would like to start with the youngest one on the panel, which is Ojas Kapoor. So Ojas, would you like to go ahead and share your views?
Yes, sir. Thank you for introducing me. So Gandhiji has introduced many movements against Britishers and have also influenced us a lot. The most influenced, the movement I was influenced by was the Gandhian movement of sanitation, which can also be told as Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. It is a movement which has been spread worldwide. Everybody is looking forward to make his home clean and surroundings also. This movement was grown to motivate every citizen to keep his surroundings clean. And in this COVID-19 situation also, we have to keep our surroundings clean. And if I was given a chance to raise up a movement, then I would start an anti-pollution movement, because many people are suffering from lung diseases like asthma. And if we start an anti-pollution movement in a society, starting from the society or a family, and then keep growing up from a society, country, and to the world, then everybody's health facilities will increase, and our healthcare situation will also grow, and we will also learn a lot from this movement for our future.
Thanks, Ojas. I think you touched upon a very fundamental issue of the pollution, and because pollution is a healthy nation comes from a healthy individual, and the pollution effect of pollution play a very important role. Thank you so much. Now I would like to go to Samaira. Samaira, would you like to share your views?
Gandhiji started a movement named the Non-Cooperation Movement. So in this movement, he basically influenced all of the citizens of India, as many as he could, to stop abiding by the British laws and to stop listening to the Britishers and to stop using the British goods. He motivated everybody to start buying Indian goods and not not buy the British goods, so that the British influence over the Indians would reduce, so that Indians won't cooperate with the Britishers in their rules. So I was really influenced by this movement. And an issue which has been going on, which has really touched me in this time of the coronavirus, is how the small businesses, how the small shopkeepers and the small businesses are going into loss. I think we should stop cooperating with the international companies from which we have been buying for so long. We should start promoting our Indian businesses, and we should encourage them to get associated with online platforms like Amazon and Flipkart, so that they can sell their goods through these uh, platforms. And we should stop cooperating with international companies to be able to go vocal for local, so that from this Gandhi Jayanti onwards we become Atmanirbhar.
Thank you, Punya. Thank you, Samira. I think you touched upon a very relevant point. And I'm sure the government, if they hear your views, they'll also be very happy, because today the movement is Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, an independent India. So it's glad that the future of the country is thinking like this. So there is no way, we cannot succeed if the future thinks like that, future kids think like that. Now, let me also take a view from Punya. Punya, over to you.
So the movement that has influenced me the most is the Khilafat movement. Mahatma Gandhi saw it as an opportunity to bring people from various religions together to fight against the British rule. It has influenced me because this movement has encouraged me to stand united with all the people, regardless of their caste, religion, gender, race, etc. Through this movement, I've realized the need for unity in diversity and how it can lead to national integration and communal harmony in the country. So this becomes the issue that I would like to address in a peaceful and non-violent manner. The ways in which we can do so are by teaching each other the meaning of quote-unquote, united we stand, divided we fall, and how it results in the nation moving to the path of development despite differences, how it leads to a peaceful environment in the country and avoids conflicts, how it instills people with a sense of togetherness and respect for each other. And according to me, the most important way of achieving it is through communication. Social media is the best example of communication. Like, people of different backgrounds are able to voice their concerns, speak up against the wrong, and stand united on an issue. So this becomes a better way of protesting, that too peacefully, in a way that fits the movement led by Gandhiji, that is through non-violence.
Wonderful, Punya. Thanks a lot for sharing it so beautifully. I think three things what come out, kids. I'm so happy, and I'm sure all of us here are so happy to hear, all three of you, which is, one is United India, one is the India which is clean, and as you mentioned, the India which is independent. So these three are the pillars which will definitely take any nation forward, and definitely India. So at this stage, I think the discussion is at the very right level, where I would like to take a views from Ma'am Nipa and Ma'am Shali, if you can go in that order and share your views, interesting views on the comment what the kids have shared.
While I was just listening, all I was thinking that these children are much more intelligent, much more updated, and so affluent in expressing their views that they've said it all on how each one of us, if we follow the Gandhi way, and also these children need to be taught about the three things that Gandhi did, because I've been in a preschool for so many years. So what we do with our children in the preschool, because that's where the basic foundation of the children begin from, is the three, Bura mat bolo, Bura mat dekho, Bura mat socho, because that's the easiest and the simplest that the children relate to when they start with their formal education, the preschool education, where we lay down the foundation for their holistic development. So that's very important, children, and also ahimsa, non-violence, because these days everybody is like, all stuck up, worked up, and we get immediately, our reactions are very fast. No matter if it's a teacher, it tells us anything, or our parents or grandparents or anything, we react very fast. So we need to slow down, think, speak, Bura mat dekho, Bura mat bolo, Bura mat socho. That's the basic. And apart from all that my children said is like wonderfully explained. And rather than my talking, I would love to hear the children, the young generation, speak it out so well. So great children.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. I think you said it right. Now I'd like to go to...
Because we had a workshop. We had Gandhi celebrations in our online classes yesterday. Okay. And it's a pre-nursery, and children of 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. We played a game with them. We told them to get headphones, the masks, and their sunglasses. And so we played a game with them, and we kept giving them options. क्या आप कभी किसी को ऐसे डांटोगे? So they would say no. So quickly they would, wear their mask. अगर मम्मा ने किसी ने आपको किसी के बारे में कुछ गलत कहा, आप उसके बारे में सुनोगे, so they would take the headphone and wear it. So that's the game that we played with our children yesterday. कि बुरा मत देखो, बुरा मत सोचो, बुरा मत बोलो, with the headphone, the head mask, and the sunglasses, and they all understood exactly what we were trying to say, and the reactions were perfect. So that's how we can train our younger generation, and we learn from them. There's so many things that we learn and we undo when we grow up. So it's nice to go back to our roots and rethink and react in a very sensible manner. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And interesting workshop that you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's a very nice, very impactful.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, with all our children, even whether elders or grown-ups or youngsters. It's like wonderful to be reminded what the basic concerns are these days.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome.
I would like to take another view from Anjali, ma'am, on this.
It was really exciting to hear from Ojas, Punya, and Samaira that Sir rightly said, clean, independent, and a united nation. And ma'am, Nipa ma'am added on that Bura mat dekho, suno, and bolo. And really excited to hear about the new game which you played with your kids. And my view on that will be that all the movements which were initiated by Gandhiji was successful because of the mass cooperation from the population of a nation. So every movement which we want to start, whether it is Ojap's idea or Punya's idea or Samaira's idea, we need a cooperation from everybody. From everybody we need the cooperation. For any movement today, whether it is Swachh Bharat Abhiyan or whether Make in India, but we need a cooperation from everybody. That would be my view to say.
Absolutely, absolutely. Without we being together, all of us participating, this we cannot make it a success. It will remain a discussion and dialogue. Now over to the parents, and I'm sure the parents are very happy listening the way how smart the kids are, what is their understanding and the way they think. They basically reflect at this age about these challenges, right? It's so beautiful to see. Shelly, if you want to start first.
So certainly I agree with you. I mean, all the children and teachers have very beautifully, explained with the relevant situations and Gandhiji's movements. So I'm really impressed to see that. And as Deepa ma'am said, the common thing in the movements was that collective aim, or everybody was united and working towards one common goal. So that is something which, with which we can achieve almost anything. So that unity is very important, and we have to take that lesson from Gandhiji and take it forward.
Thank you, Shelly. Rightly summed up. Ruchi, any views from your end? Ruchi, you're on the mute. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. It is really a delighted moment and a platform to share with such esteemed principal and teachers. I'm really happy to see how our kids shared their views until date in such a young age, like Ojas, so small, and he is talking about so big revolutionary movements of Gandhiji. See, for me, Gandhiji's entire life is inspiring to us. His good way of communications, patience, and perseverance, the way he led things were really, which we can still implement. Gandhiji always used to say, be the change you want the world to look into. And like our kids were sharing that it's Atmanirbhar. So if you want to become Atmanirbhar, you have to be patient. In this pandemic world where everything is locked down, our kids, be it a small child, each age is a challenging part right now. So if it's a small child or a tiny teenager, like I have two boys and one of is a pre-teen. So handling his tantrums, frustration levels of online classes, not going out. So I really need to teach him that patience and loving, and it's okay, let's communicate. Good communication of Gandhiji, like they all were sharing, plays a very important role. And we all need to pen down to all these things, being a hero and sharing everything with each other. Good communication is the key role. The entire life of Gandhiji inspires us.
Thank you, Ruchi.
Thank you.
I think this is well all-round view we have captured about the reflection of the Gandhian values and how it applies in today's environment and in our life, and how a right combination and understanding of that can make a difference. Then let's now move on to this discussion to the specific challenge that you students must be facing or may be facing, or one of your friend must have faced. Because talking about big things is very good, but let's see how you apply in your daily life when you go to school. Say, for example, if a student, I don't know if any of you are, is very good in sports. The sports is a passion. And of course, you have to attend many classes. You know, there's a schedule of the school which you have to attend to. And then you go to the teacher asking for the permission to skip the classes, you know, for your sports events. Then what will be your decision? The teacher tells you, you know, come to the class, education is important. And you want to go and attend the sports meet or a sports training. Then how do you manage and what will be your decision? And how do you implement that? Ojas?
Yes, sir. So, sir, actually both are important for us, sports also and education also. We can't skip one or another. So I would prefer that first I study and then I take out time for sports after the classes. Or I can do vice versa. I can ask the teacher to give me extra sessions either online or face to face, obviously after or before COVID-19. Right now I will take only online sessions by the teacher, and I will prefer to devote time to both of the things because both are important for us. So this is my view.
So thanks, Ojas. Thanks for thinking so intelligently, and I'm speechless, you know, hearing your answer. Let me also go to Punya now and take your views on this.
Yes, in this situation, I'll try to arrange for an extra class in any of the in maybe break or after the school ends for the by the teacher, so that I can focus on both the things. But at that point of time, if the teacher agrees to give me an extra class, then I'll go for sports. And if she's not able to give me an extra class, then I'll go for study.
Wonderful. Plan A and Plan B, both are ready. Yeah. What about Samara? What's your view on this?
So first I'll try to convince the teacher that I'll complete everything. I'll confirm from her if she's going to be available sometime later to summarize what all has been done in the class. And so that everybody can enjoy, I might even ask her to give the games period or to allow the whole class to go for the sports, so that everybody is able to enjoy and so that no one misses out on the studies.
Great. So, ma'am, you see how intelligent the kids are?
Yeah. Can I just say something? Can I just say something? Ravinder, can I just say something?
Yes, Nima, ma'am, please go ahead.
I wanted to say, children, you all are such wonderful. And you know what? All that you said just now would not even be required so many times because your teacher understands your love and your... So any extracurricular activities that you would want to. So when she knows that in a choice of yours, she's automatically going to give you all those options possible, you know, for you to let your dreams grow and, you know, proceed in life for your holistic development. So that's the aura of a teacher, that she understands the students fully and will go to any level and any extent to help the children, be it the virtual classes or be it when you're in school.
I agree, Nipa ma'am. I agree.
Because we relive ourselves in our children. Whatever the teacher, you know, she might be a teacher in the school, but there's so many things that she's not been able to attain when she was small because she didn't have those options then. And now when those options are available, even if she's a teacher of the school and must be a parent at home, but for you all, she's going to relive herself in your children and in your prosperity. So she's going to do everything possible to see that you guys flourish and, you know, rise high and soar high and attain your, you know, whatever achievement that you want. So that's the aura of a teacher. Yes. It's going to be in collaboration with the parents. Yes. Yeah, their support and their thing is of utmost, again, required. Yeah. Am I not right, Anjali ma'am? Isn't it?
You are absolutely right.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure the parents are very glad listening to the kids here that their role is not required. You know, they can manage between them and teachers so beautifully.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see the kids. They don't want to impact their studies, and side by side they have a zeal towards the non-academic things also. If I would have been given an opportunity, I would have surely shared with my child, since he has a zeal for sports also. So not missing his classes, making him time management, and speak to the teacher, I'm sure the teachers and the staff are really beautiful and they support the children also. And they would come up with this, that, okay, we will give some extra time and the course doesn't get missed off. So it is really nice to see that kids are very smart also these days.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruchi.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let us move to the next specific challenge. Many a times you must have seen, heard, or it happened with you, right? Like say, for example, you are being bullied by your peers, okay? And your teacher is not listening to your complaint. How will you handle this situation? Yeah, Ojas, over to you.
Yes, sir. So in this situation, I would not like to respond him back because I don't want to get stuck. I don't want to be scolded and I don't want to get in a mayhem. So I will just convince my parents and I will talk to them and I will stop my friends from doing these things. And I will also contact with my teacher. I will make my parents ask that please tell my teacher that if there is a serious topic like this, then please respond. And I will convince straight away to the to my mother and father. And if 1% they also not listen, so I will go to my other close ones like grandpa, grandmother, siblings, brothers, sisters, etc.
Wonderful. So before I respond, or all of us respond, some such answers, great answers, let me take a view from all the kids. Yeah, Samira, what about you?
So since I am in 9th grade and all my friends often indulge in such activities like bullying, like not my friends, sometimes they are bullied. So I have witnessed it quite a lot. So what I will do is that I will call upon my friends and I will ask the bully's friends to come, and so that if one-to-one communication takes place, a fight might occur again. But if a group of people are talking with another group of people, I think the issue can be resolved.
Wonderful, wonderful. Great answer. Yes, Punya?
Yes, so if this situation occurs, and then the first time I'll ignore. But if it happens again, then I'll prefer to showcase a stronger and more confident side of myself, and I'll tell that person assertively not to repeat it again. Because if I don't do that, then I'll be an easy target, and he'll repeat that again and again.
Thank you, thank you. I'm glad to see that the kids are having the courage and the wisdom, both in the right combination to think about this situation and go to either a parent, or a teacher. And why I'm saying this question, that it is mentioned that teacher is not listening. And I've not seen a case, both the teachers are here, that when such complaint comes to them, they will not listen. I don't think this will happen. Though this question was put in a very extreme way. Teachers, any comment from your side? You must have faced this situation in your life very frequently, right?
I think at that moment, students, I really like Ojas' point of view, like this is the age, the right person will be your parents after your teachers. So it's your way to choose, identify the person priority wise, where to go first if teachers are not available.
Right, exactly. Deepa ma'am, any views?
Absolutely. Whatever Anjali ma'am said, I agree to it, because it's the teachers, the parents, your grandparents. It's all going to be a collective, connect to it, because sometimes it can have various angles to it. So whichever suits the most. And then, of course, whatever we've all shared. And the children are very smart. I'm so happy that they have so much insight into how to be handling and tackling situations. Today, it can be bullying. It can be anything else, but then they know the exact way and means to, find the way out, which is most important. So,
yeah,
I mean, absolutely perfect. Yes.
So I think the key
like
part
Samira and Punya's thought was correct, that they should take this by themselves. But at this stage, right, person will be, they have to look upon their parents.
Yeah.
If parent teachers are not available.
Sure. Absolutely. Parents, any view? Your role becomes very, very important here.
Yeah, and also at the same time, I'm wondering if there is an escalation matrix within the school itself, which the children should be aware of. If the teacher is not listening, even the parents have approached the teacher, but then any higher up where they can go and, they can be heard. So that information should also be created and shared with the children and parents.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as a parent, my view also is that when we come to know, the first, I really appreciate the kids that they're doing a dialogue. This is very important to share first, right? So once you share, it is a role of parent as well as teachers to discuss the issue together and address in the most amicable way and the most decent way. Because this becomes a tricky issue many times in terms of what has happened, what has not happened, bullying is happening or not happening. So I think a collective wisdom where sensibly the issue is handled, maturely issue is handled is very important. Yeah.
Yeah, if I just have a point to add here. If something comes up to me as a parent and my child is being bullied, yes, kids are very right. Like Ojas said that they will try to handle on their own, but at times it crosses your limit. So as a parent, I would like to counsel my child, have a communication with him, understand, because I think communication is the best key. Understanding, and then one-on-one can happen with the teacher. If the boundary limits goes beyond explanation and they are not able to have a positive vibes amongst each other, then probably a meeting with the parent can also help, because if she steps into my shoes and understands that my child is bullied, at the same time it can be other way around as well. So kids, these are smart enough, but as a parent, if it goes beyond, like in a senior classes, in teenager, these things are really going high these days. So as a parent, we can talk to the mother of the bullied child also and another child, so that they can give their viewpoints and explain the child. So counseling also at times helps each other.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I think key part is the communication here. Let everyone know that this is happening.
Yeah.
Many times the problem gets solved if all the teachers know and the parents know, both the side parents know. So the problems has been addressed effectively in the past. But if you keep it to yourself, then problem will only increase. That is what we are hearing here. So thank you very much. Let's change gears now. We move into the icebreaker, which is the quick Q&A one, where I will ask few questions to the kids and teachers and the parents. At any stage you feel you want to jump in and comment about the answers, please feel free. So this is in the round robin mode. You start with Ojas and then Samaira and Punya in that, so you can just reply. So the first question goes, Ojas, which one thing you would like to be vanished from this world?
School.
You can't escape that. Which is a real one thing?
Real one thing. I'm happy with my life such now, so I don't think I should have a situation to vanish anything from my life.
Okay, wow, great answer. Samaira, your view?
I would like the coronavirus to vanish.
Absolutely.
As would everybody.
Absolutely.
Because I'm missing traveling to other places. Not exactly school, but I think I'm missing a lot of things that I used to do before the virus.
Yeah,
and that I was planning to do.
This is one thing which comes in everyone's mind, right? What we spoke. Thank you. Punya?
I would like the pressure of exams to vanish, especially when you
wonderful.
You want to attend those.
I think every time the results come out, this is one thing, we always feel. How can this pressure go away? Right? All of us. Yeah. Any views on this from anyone? Nice answers the kids have given.
Yeah, children, you all want the school to vanish, but the school is the one that's going to lay the stepping stones and help you soar and achieve your dreams, isn't it? Yeah.
Sure.
So for a little while, the virtual classes are there, but very shortly, the teachers and your educators are going to help you, get all your, run and achieve all your achievements. And so
But just thanks for adding the spice to the question.
That's called simplicity, what Gandhiji told us. The children are nice, simple. They don't pretend. Whatever comes to their mind, they speak it out. Yeah.
Straight from the heart. Yeah. The next,
yes.
Yeah, let me move on to the next question here. The next is, what is one quality you feel every human being should possess? Ojas?
Yeah, to keep everyone happy. Not only yourself, not only your surroundings, but the whole world. Because when you keep yourself and the other person happy, this is just like an infection. If you infect one person, then the others also get infected. So if you make one person happy, they will also continue that chain to make everybody happy.
Your mom and dad are going to be so happy with you when they hear that.
You made us
when
happy
they follow
by
it.
Yeah. You made us happy.
Look what Ojas said. You're not even following it. So mom and dad have a good example to quote each time they land up into a communication spree. They'll, quote what Ojas said.
Ojas. I'm happy that he uses.
Yeah, even we are going to learn from you today.
Yeah.
Today onwards, I'm going to pay heed to just what you said.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for those comments. Samira, your view?
I would like everybody to have acceptance in them.
Wow.
So, I think everybody should accept the present and they should live the present to the fullest, and they should not expect something that they have not sown the seeds for. They should accept everything that is happening. They should not complain about everything around them. They should accept it, and then if they want something more, they should work for it. Because one reaps what one sows. So they should sow the good seeds, and then they should accept the results.
Lovely.
For themselves and for other people as well.
Lovely. See, both the answers are well connected. If you accept things in life, then only you can work towards your happiness, so you can be happy, right? If you don't accept, you become prisoner to your situation. Yeah, wonderful. Punya?
One quality that, according to me, everybody should have is patience, because patience is the key to success. You should be patient for the result, for the fruitful result, and not worrying for the result.
Wonderful. Gandhiji, if he was hearing this platform right now, he must have been so happy, right? The patience, the selflessness, are these virtues which are coming out. These are as you grow in life, you will realize the importance of these words. Presently, these are words, but these are the words. If you really understand the meaning of this, they make life. Yeah. Next one is, what is that one quality you feel a teacher should never have? So teachers, keep your ears close to these answers. Ojas, over to you.
Give
Ojas
pressure.
Will be true to answer.
Give pressure.
Yeah. So teacher should,
because directly or indirectly, I think they give pressure to students.
Oh, my baby. That's just because, sometimes under pressure, you all can, do wonders. You've just got to be reminded. That's not a pressure. That's a very humble reminder. Children, look, you need to, buck up and do well in life. So just do that, do right. So it's for your benefit. But yeah, we will keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think I should think that way, that I feel it is pressure, but you think it's learning for us. So I will keep now that in mind.
We're going to learn next time how lovely.
Yes. So,
Very nice, Ojas. I really appreciate the truth way aspects point he is putting across. Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very true. That's what I said. That teachers we also need to be learning. Learning is an ongoing process.
As they say, the right pressure, is the right word. Pressure is wrong, but the right pressure is right. Samira, your view on this?
I think the teacher should always listen. They should never ignore the students. I mean, that doesn't happen very often when teachers ignore the students because their main purpose is to promote the students. But sometimes I've experienced it that the teachers don't listen to the students. Sometimes they just think that whatever they're saying is right. They choose to ignore the child's perspective. I have experienced it a number of times. So all I think is the teacher should listen and accept the child's perspective as well.
I'm glad, Samira and Ojas, I'm glad that the students are, asking, speaking from the heart, right? And making the discussion really genuine and lively. Very good, very good. And I'm sure many times during the pressure for, to make you better, the teachers, go into that mode unknowingly, without any intent. Yeah. Punya, your views?
So the teacher should never be, she should never be biased. She should not be very partial, because what I've experienced is that she's partial towards the toppers, and sometimes she like ignores the people who are good in sports, and she's also sometimes biased between girls and boys.
Okay, okay. Thank you for speaking. Many times, I'm sure these situations are not new teachers. You
Yeah.
have seen your teachers or
What they said is absolutely right.
yeah.
I mean, their view. That's their point of view.
Great that one, the effect of the way of this is that once you speak like this, even with your teachers, believe me, your teachers would listen with the complete attention, and they will not mind, hearing this and correcting themselves. It's always good. So hence the communication is the key, right? Right, teachers?
Sometimes it is not intentional.
Communication is very important.
Exactly.
Yes.
When these things happens, unknowingly they go into that territory. They don't want to go there, but because of that specific situations, some pressures here and there, these things happen. So it's always good to go to the teacher and humbly share your thoughts. And even the teacher would be happy to get the feedback, right? I'm sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Let me move
Because
on.
the teacher should always be approachable, no matter what.
Absolutely.
The teacher should be approachable, and all these things are not going to arise once it comes into their minds and they let it out to the teacher. It's surely not going to be taken, in account
I'm
again.
sure these kids, the way they're speaking, many times, some teachers, when we were also kids, were very strict to look at and strict to behave. So the kids, we didn't have the courage to really...
Basically, it's the comparison, Mr. Ravinder. Sometimes teachers tend, look at that child, she's doing well. Why aren't you doing? So that's to make the student better.
Sure.
But sometimes it can be misinterpreted, like the children just said.
Correct. No, I realize the students have grown up after passing through this age, that whatever happened in the school was for my benefit, right? As a single big line, if you have to take away, right? So always good to go to the teachers when they will realize you are feeling this. I'm sure, they'll work with you and find a solution. Then the next question is, what is one thing that you feel your parents should give up? The parents, be ready now. Yes, Ojas?
Can you just explain the question again? I
Yeah,
could
the
not
question
get,
is-
your voice was cracking.
It's a very important question. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. The question is, what is one thing you feel your parents should give up?
My parents should give up, like,
Parents must be skipping a beat right now.
I think.
no idea.
Okay, you think about it. If you want to add, let me go
Yeah.
to Samira. And yeah, Samira, over to you.
Ojas parenting is perfect. That shows mommy, daddy
Yeah,
are perfect.
because perfect parents.
All mommies and daddies are perfect. They think the best about us. So there's everything right in mummies and daddies, isn't it? Lovely.
Yeah, that's what I think, that my parents and dads are perfect for me. They are doing everything for me, which I
And they're going
need.
to think the best for you, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
And indeed. Yeah.
I hope they're not standing behind the camera. Huh?
No.
Yeah, Samira, over to you.
Yeah.
What I think is that I've been I think how I'm being raised is exactly the way I would want myself to be raised. So it's ideal, but maybe I think I want my parents to give up high expectations because I think I want parents to understand that as children also we give our best when we do some things that we are interested in, and we like there are just some things that we're not interested in and we don't like to do them, and when we are forced to do them we don't like doing it, and then when we put effort in it we don't achieve the best results. So they're just the things that we're not interested in, so they shouldn't keep really high expectations from us in those areas.
So beautifully put. Yeah, yeah. So this is one of the way the pressure can be eased, and you will even achieve much better, than before. Yeah. Punya, your views?
Even I think that the parents, they raise us perfect way, but only one thing that they should avoid is comparing us with the other children.
I knew this was coming. Yeah. Good. Shali, any views?
No, I think I'm very happy to hear the honest answers. The children have been giving the honest answers all the time. So very pleased with Ojas. He's happy with perfect parents. And yeah, when it comes to expectations, I understand, that peer pressure is there on the minds of parents as well. And as far as I am concerned, I just want my children to do the best, the best in their terms. Like I generally don't compare them with others. I just want them to do their best. So yeah, I take that as a input.
Absolutely. Ruchi, your views?
Yeah, I think I am really impressed the way Ojas is being so truthful in saying he believes that he has got the best parents, and every child feels this only. And as a parent, if yes, expectations are always there. If the child does something good, he is a good child for us. If he does something bad, he is a bad child for us. But we try to counsel him, we communicate with him. But as a parent, yes, there are little pressures. Like I have a pre-teenage boy who, with this pandemic and frustrations and online games, from teachers, we really require inputs to know how to handle such kind of things also. But yes, as a parent, we always keep counseling him that in this, have a lot of patience. You need to change yourself, because when there is an expectation, some kind of project, anything comes up from school, it is a guideline. And yes, schools give a pressure. You have to submit by this date. So with boys, which anyways, you become as a referee, adjusting them and explaining them how this to be done. So that's the biggest challenge we face actually.
Absolutely, absolutely. Compared to society, that we are living in, I think this is the biggest challenge. Sometimes we also
there's a lot of peer pressure also around.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, I think the discussion happening is so lively that I just realized
in this process we start becoming like a helicoptering parent, helicoptering all around the child, because we over expect. We want the best for our child, and we want them to be doing everything possible so that they could have a right future. So that way it's like, but the parents are like the Delhi police, for the children, of the children, by the children. So all that the parents do is going to be ultimately for their benefit. In that process, we become helicoptering parents, which sometimes we need to listen to our children.
Sure.
I also want to add something in this, that if parents expect high from us, I think we only understand that, for example, if they want good marks from us. So I think they have a lack of understanding that we want more good marks than they expect. So we want more better results than they expect. So there's no need to have high expectations, because we are also trying the best for doing that.
How sweet, Ojas. You're the youngest and the most intelligent probably, isn't it? Yeah, understanding all these facts so well.
Yeah, so let me move on. So far it was about, first was about teachers, second was about parent. Now kids, it's about you, this question. So what is more important to you? Your family, virtual friends, or real friends? It's a tricky one. Ojas, first you.
As this was the concept with the sports and education, everybody is important. The friends make friendship among us and try to love us and try to make a relationship between us so that we can help them. The parents grow up, raise up so that they can prepare us for any problem we want, and virtual friends are the same as friends,
Wonderful.
according to me.
Samira?
Like, I don't think I'll prefer anybody over anybody in this case, because my life would be incomplete without my real friends. My life would be incomplete, very incomplete, without my parents and without my virtual friends, although I don't have any because I'm not into social media as yet. And I think my parents promote that. But I think, like, my friends, they help me. I can talk to them about things that maybe I won't be able to talk to my parents about. So that is the plus point of friends. But I don't think that I'll ever be able to get the kind of support I get from my family, from my real friends. So they all hold a special place in my life, and I don't think I'll prefer anybody over it.
Lovely. Punya?
Even I can't choose, but obviously my family is my priority, because they always support me in everything, which even friends can't do, and they've like given us birth, and we're in this world because of them. So I think my family will be my priority.
Yeah, it was a tricky question, but well answered by all three of you. And in the positive time, let me move ahead with the balance three questions, and then I'll take a views from the teachers and the parents again. So the next question, Kate, says that if you have a choice between the online education and a classroom education, what will you prefer? Kids, anyone can go now. Any Robin.
I
Okay.
would prefer online education.
Okay. Yeah, Ojas?
I would also prefer online education, but as everything has disadvantages and advantages, when we go to school, we have an interaction and we understand better. But in online classes, sometimes we have online connection problem, and then sometimes teacher forces us also to open the camera, and sometimes we don't like to do that. And in online classes also, sometimes if we have some problems, then we can't ask before, because when we go to school we have 7 hours to clarify everything, but in online classes every subject has only 1 hour and there are only 3 classes a day. And also some sports sessions or third language like French, they happen only twice a week, so we have less understanding. So both I will prefer, yes.
Interesting. A combination of both.
Yeah.
Punya?
I won't prefer online classes, because we're not able to meet our friends, and even in our school, we're not allowed to open our cameras. So I would prefer real classes, because we're able to meet our friends, and also because we're not able to interact with our teachers. We're able to interact with our teachers in a better way when we're not online, and also we're able to focus on extracurricular activities.
Sure. Very interesting perspectives, from all of you. The next one is, what will you prefer? A parent who set rules and limitations? A parent who just guides you and lets you free to choose? A parent who leaves everything on you to plan and choose? Yes, kids.
I will prefer the parent who guides me and then lets me choose.
Okay.
Because since I don't know the harshness and the problems that one faces in real world, I'll need someone, a guiding force, a driving force, so that I get the exposure, and I get the right exposure. But I won't want somebody to force some decisions on me, to like bind me to some decision, to bind me to a kind of way they want me to be. So one who guides me and lets me be. That would be ideal for
Perfect.
me.
Punya?
Yes, Stephen, I would agree that I would like to have parents who guide me, and leave it on me to choose my rules and regulations according to me. Because
Yeah, so I will say the truth that I am very small to make decisions on my own, especially me, because I have also not completed a teen, so I am not even a teenager, so I can't make decisions better than my parents. But also sometimes I don't like when parents force me for things which I don't like. So I think parents should be a mixture of all. Parents should love us also, and they should give us values. They should be strict also. Means they should be everything for us.
Lovely perspective, Ojas. I think the way you all have summed up this one, all parents what are sitting here, you know, they will simply be very glad to see the kind of maturity and the kind of discernment, you know, these kids have, you know, in terms of understanding of the situation and the way they look at it, right? So the key thing what we can do as a parent is start talking to them as an adult, right? With that mind, that's a key. Many times we do a mistake of talking to them as a kid, you know, for a long age. Now we have reached the you know, kind of rapid fire round, almost yes and no. So if you have your props, you can use that. The first question comes to kids. Do you like your parents to interfere in your homework? No, yes, no. Okay, interesting. There is a yes as well. Do you share your secrets with parents? Okay. Ojas has given a very interesting answers. Punya too. Nice. I love it. Do you gossip about your teachers among your friends? Of course, I'm expecting all yes. Has to be. Otherwise, how will the school life be interesting? Yeah. Do you Google your answers during the online exams? Only one. There was one yes, but changed to no. Because teachers are here, I can see that. Okay, but nice to know that. Very good. But don't do it. You know, it is about knowing ourselves. You know what we are. Good or bad doesn't matter. The final test is a real exam, so we should avoid it. Are you as attentive in your online classes as offline classes? Yeah. Oh, there is one yes. Very good. Nice to see.
Actually, we have to be, because we can't miss our education. We only get 3 hours to learn everything.
Yeah.
And also Saturday, Sunday is a holiday. That's why.
But I think if you read the topic, like if we do have our books anyway at home, and we do have the internet now as well. So if we read well enough about the topic, if we are able to understand it from reading, then I think we need not pay a lot of attention. And I think like reading books about it, and reading, like if we're, say for example, we are talking about history, then if by reading books about history we'll be able to understand it even better. So I think reading provides us with more knowledge, although the teachers are really good at their jobs, but I think reading is much better.
Yeah. But I think nothing replaces the, as my view, if I go in my kids' days, nothing replaces the you know, face-to-face learning from the teacher. And so these days, in the new normal, I think it's a combination of both, which is important as we go forward. So I think, kids, we are reaching the last stage of the session now. So my last question is, are you enjoying this event? Right? Because we all are. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. We all are enjoying it too. And thank you for speaking out, speaking from your heart, not just as a formality, but the real genuine feelings and the perspective that you got. Thank you very much from all of us to sharing that. With this, I move on to the parent. And the question, parent, to you in the end is that what are the challenges of being a parent in today's challenging time? So we can start with Ruchi.
Yeah. Since we all are in a lockdown situation only, though there are certain relaxations which have been given, but still kids cannot move out. They cannot go with friends. They cannot behave and play the way you used to. So the challenge for, be it any age, a small age group child or a teenager, is that they are not being able to open up on their own. So like in a teenager or something, the frustration is already there. So I feel the kids are really frustrated and they really want the creative minds they had, blocking, sitting, reading. Yes, they might be enjoying online class. Probably they listen to the teacher. But my son, half of the time, he'll switch off the camera and he'll move around here and there. So let's see how it goes off. But then we still explain him that, see, this is going to go off slowly and slowly. And this is the biggest challenge I'm facing. And that frustration has led to a lot of gadgets and all those things.
Yeah, thank you, Ruchi, for sharing it so openly, which we all feel. Shelly, your views?
Yeah, I think the biggest elephant is the screen time. By
Yeah.
inevitable nowadays, with so many essential things like teaching, activities, the video calls, the interaction which is done using screen time. But at the same time, that cutoff period, that cutoff stage is something which is, difficult to set up for the kids. So that mindful usage of the screen time is one of the challenges, and especially in this COVID time. So.
Completely agree. Completely agree. We all should have our cutoff times, because unless the mind gets cut off and gets refreshed, it is very difficult to absorb the new activity or the new thing what we are learning. So
Yeah, kids are really smart enough. They'll have reason. Now my class is going on. Now I'm trying to Google something to find answers. Now teacher has given me X activity, so I'm trying. So they have their answers ready. So you just cannot justify them and tell them. Yes, we still give them an option that this is the time you have to leave now. But they are pretty smart and they are far beyond technology wise. So they are very high in front of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm sure they are also smart enough to understand and find out.
Yeah.
Refreshing. Yeah. Initially, you were saying something.
Yeah, I think another thing is, the health concern. Like when I say health, it's not only the physical health, but the mental health as well. So with, reduced physical activity, obviously their physical health is also being impacted. But at the same time, they are also going through a lot during the situation, like with reduced interactions, only the, virtual ones and all that. The pressure of, the online classes and the, the usage of the creative juices in their mind, and they're just using the two senses, eyes and ears. The other senses, they're not being used much. So I think they're going through a lot, and just maintaining that balance is a challenge for all of us right now.
Yeah, I think one of my concern as well as a parent is the extensive use of the social media. I was surprised to see one of the kid here, Samaira, not being on social media, which is good. But I think the real combination of the time spent on the social media and the studies and the dialogue and the learning part of it, that differentiation is very important. So because these are all very addictive things. Once we get into that, we don't realize what is the cutoff time. So that is one of the challenge which I see, where the discipline of the kids should be there in usage of the social media. Yeah, then thank you very much, parents. And now moving to the teachers, the last point. Teachers, what are the challenges of being a teacher in the COVID time? You can share your heart out. This is your
As a teacher, what I feel, because I'm a board class teacher, so what I'm feeling, to follow up their learning of my students. Are they really able to answer the questions in a manner which is accepted by the boards? So follow up of the learning of the students. And then it's 6 months now, still the same set of students answering the same thing. The mic is not working, video is not working. So still the same set of students. It's not changed. It's 6 months now. Still those issues cannot be overcome.
Yeah, correct.
And I'm really worried for follow up the learning of my students, like how they're going to perform in the board. As a board teacher, I'm really worried for that.
Absolutely. And that's the right concern, no doubt. Yeah. Yes, Nipa ma'am.
What Anjali just said was right. And the challenge as a teacher was also, it was a combined challenge, It came equally on to the parents, also to the children and to the teachers, because for us it was something new, but then there's, as I said, learning is always a beginning. So we learned the new ways, techniques by hit and trial, but it was also a combined effort because the mothers and the teachers had to balance between their, the assignments of the home schedule that they were following, and the parents had to follow their work schedule. So there was where the problem actually came initially. But once everything got settled, the numerous engagements, busy schedule of the parents, teachers all worked out, grandparents had to, pitch in. They were very helpful because somebody had to be sitting next to the child monitoring. So that was basically one challenge, was to just set up a routine that we could follow. And then it's working out wonderful, because I can see the children and the parents working equally hard as my teachers work, and everybody's working. So it was just an initial challenge, a hit and trial method, and now it's working smoothly. I'm happy about it. And I get to see my teachers and my children and the lovely parents and grandparents every day. And it's like a virtual interaction. You can see the expressions of the children, because I basically deal with small children. So they wait and the messages start coming in, ma'am, admit, the parents. So it's like a different ball game with Anjali ma'am and I speak about children who are 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. It's a preschool, and she's got the senior lot. So together, we've got both the views. And with the small children, the parents are very happy because it's like one-to-one coaching, and the children are much ahead of their syllabus, what they would do in the school. With preschool children, one teacher with 5 children sitting across the table, and there it's like one-to-one, the mother sitting right next. So these children are doing fantabulously well. So for me, it's like a win-win situation.
Even I feel that few students are really very good. The one who was like Ojas said that he was attentive in the classes. But like Samaira and Punya said, they are not attentive in the classes.
No, you know what? My nieces and my nephews go to the Lotus Valley, and I have my cousin telling me that, Didi, the amount of hard work that the teachers are putting in is like commendable. She says they're putting in 200 of their heart and soul, 200%. So my sister and my brother, cousins, whoever's of my age, are absolutely happy with the efforts of the teachers. I mean, they say the tremendous effort going in is like amazing.
Yeah, really, ma'am.
Yeah. So that's like
you were saying now,
pat on the back,
yes.
And that's a motivational factor for all of us because we want our children to be.
It is always a support of principal side.
Yeah. So because I wish all my children all love, luck, achievement in life. And you know, whatever we can, we have to be doing it to engineer you all towards, you know, success and the field that you want to strive and attain your success in.
You're very right, ma'am. I have a younger child also. He's just 5 years and he loves attending classes. The amount of efforts the primary school teachers are just to make them engaged because it is very tough.
New ways to, you know, we've relived ourselves. I'd forgotten to be that little baby I was in the class, or when I was in the principal's office sitting. So in the virtual classes, we sit at 10:30. And initially, you know, when the classes began, we had to train ourselves first. So I would sit at 10:30 on my online classes. We would do it for the children first, which was the hobby classes because it was summer vacations. Then after the lunch, I would sit with my teachers in 4 different batches to train them for the next day, to collect the material and the content and how to be delivering it and visibility and your eye connection. So I would sit in the online classes for 10:30 in the morning and would get up at 7:30 in the evening for those initial 2 months because I had to be with my children and with my teachers to give them that confidence and plan in a way that it gets very attractive for the children. So initially it was a challenge, but now it's like become a habit and we enjoy being with the parents and the children.
But it is really commendable the way pre-primary kids and the teachers are making their efforts. It's really very nice.
Every single prop is made on daily basis, hourly basis. Every 5 minutes, you know, you change the prop with whichever teacher comes in to deliver.
And I feel we as a parent have become very creative because you cannot go out, get costumes, get anything. And we are being asked to do everything at home.
Hats off to the parents. The teachers are doing their part. It's my duty to do it. But you as parents have another role to play. Your cooking, your household chores, your office work. Despite that, giving so much time to your child is like impossible. So a big hip hip hooray to all the parents and the grandparents for all the support that they've rendered to make this a success and education an ongoing process, a learning process for your children.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you for the wonderful perspective and sharing it so genuinely, you know, from your side.
It comes from my heart because I actually see it happening in front of my eyes every day. Yeah.
Exactly. So kids, I mean, all I can say, going back to the title of the show, the coffee, milk and tea, right? So the idea here, we are trying to create the right aroma, you know, which we can cherish as a memory in our life, you know, as we grow and we look back to the school days and to our teachers. And I thank you, all 3 of you, for sharing the answers genuinely from your heart, not just posturing. And Samaira and Punya, thanks for sharing it. Again, you know, it is not easy. These questions were many times become bookish, but you gave answers which are very practical and from the heart. And Ojas, thank you very much for joining such a young and still giving such a mature answers to many of those tricky points. Amazing. You know, you floored all of us. And parents, and I'm sure we all are glad, you know, from this platform, what Anon has created. where we get across the kids and the teachers put together and share the perspective. So what really comes out is that everybody's intent is good here, whether it's a parent or a teacher or even a kid. He is genuinely trying to be the best what he can do, right? So one is the understanding and the acceptance of the role they're playing. We don't have to be judgmental. We have to really see that yes, everybody is with a good intent is trying to do things. And if something wrong happens or some challenging situation is coming up or imbalance is getting created, the solution is the right communication. So with the right dialogue, between all the parties, anything and everything can be resolved. So I think that is the good takeaway. The balance of engagement and the balance of communication, which is the foundation of everything what we do in our life. It is not just school life. As we grow, for any challenge in the life, please communicate with your parents and teachers. The solution will be there. So I think with this, I would like to thank everyone. And the discussion was so wonderful.